very first game of series number 12, and we're going to have Reason Gaming facing off against Asian Maids for you this evening in a best of 3 format. I'm Metis, and I am delighted to introduce my very old co-caster here of Enzi, who's been out of the game for quite a while, so he's going to be rusty, ladies and gents. But Nico, Enzi, how are you feeling, dude?
I'm a bit nervous, man. Like, it's been some time, but I'm looking forward to jumping straight into the deep end, so to speak, once again, and hopefully we'll have a great game. It's going to be great to cast with you again, and hopefully we get some really, really good action.
Yes, indeed. I have seen Reason Gaming before in the past. They are a very, very strong team. I haven't seen much of Asian Maids. I mean, I've seen some of these players featuring in the EUWChallenger series before, but I am assuming they're a fairly new team. But the bans have actually been coming out thick and fast here, Nico. Zed, Fizz, Zack, Sona, Zillion, and Jovan the Fourth. Weird bans. I've not seen Zillion in quite some time.
Yeah, the Zillion ban maybe just be targeted towards a particular person. I'm not really sure, but what you were saying, let's just touch on the subject, you know, Reason and then the Asian Maid, so to right? Reason, like, I've heard of them before, like back in Call of Duty 4, you know, back in them days. Asian Maids, not really seen them around, but they might just completely stomp, who knows. But the Ari pick is going to come out first. We see that getting picked up much more frequently. I mean, Ari's just a great all-around champion. You know, she's got them 3 dashes on her ultimate. At Charm, if you can land, you can literally win a game off that if your team follows up. And on the opposite side, we have a potential Aatrox pick and Heimerdinger.
I would be very surprised if Heimer's locked in, and it actually has been. So there's me saying I'm surprised and they lock it in. Could very well be a placeholder pick, so I'm not going to get too carried away or excited just yet. But the Aatrox has also been locked in. This is something we've seen a lot in the EULCS, in the jungle and top lane. Darren in particular loves him some Aatrox. So for now it's on Ku, who has got the smite as well, so it looks like it could be the jungle. But it's going to be very quickly back over to Reason Gaming to pick their second and third lock-ins. They are going to instantly put in the Elise, who was left open through the picks and ban stage, so that is a very strong champion right now, very much versatile as well, and can be played pretty much everywhere barring AD carry. So a versatile pick, going to keep the opposition of Asian Maids on their toes, and the final lock-in is going to be from Bimbo 8, who is still kind of toying around with the idea with 10 seconds to go.
Yep, 10 seconds to go. The Elise pick does come out, so they've got that Ari and that Elise in there. Like you said, Elise very, very versatile. You can kind of play her anywhere, you know, jungle, top, even support, whatever you feel like. Lee Sin is going to come out. We've been seeing that on Crumbs recently from Dignitas over in the NA LCS, and he's been doing alright with it. But Lee Sin, love Lee Sin. Just Lee Sin, man. The play's so good.
So Lee Singer, he's just so strong. We've seen it a lot in the EULCS and also the EUWChallenger series from the jungle. So again, Lee Sin is one of those champions. It's fairly versatile. It's not completely out of the ordinary to see him played in mid or the top lane. But again, with Elise, you just never really know the way it's going to fall down. On the flip side though, Asian Maids opting for a potential Vayne and Shen lock-in. With the Vayne, it's going to be pretty scary, but again, I am just interested to find out if that Heimerdinger is a placeholder pick, because once we know the answer to that question, we can start to theorycraft about it. So, Nico, while you take this away, I'm going to try and find out if Heimerdinger is going to be played in this game.
Okay, dokie, but I don't reckon so. That's just my prediction. But the Fiddlesticks is going to be coming out with the pick, and of course Vayne, that late game hyper carry coming in. Hipster Jess is gonna Zed, I don't know how you say it, picks that Vayne up, and on the opposite side a potential Olaf pick and Draven. So if they're the actual picks, which probably not gonna happen. Saying that, you know, haven't seen Olaf a lot, but I guess they could pick him. That would mean Elise would go into that support role, I guess. But Fiddlesticks as well, he can be played mid, jungle, support, whatever you feel like doing. And yeah, it's just up to them really. So we are just going to wait for these guys to potentially lock in, as he's actually going to swap it over to a Caitlyn. So the support still needs to be locked in unless Elise is going to fill in that role. But it looks like Nami is going to get logged in. And we're going to go over straight to the other side. Vince, have you got any update on the Heimerdinger pick at all?
I haven't. I've asked a few questions, but no one is answering me, so I'm forever alone. But there we go. The remake has came in for the lobby, so it is going to be a placeholder pick. Not entirely sure what it will be for. And at the end of the picks there, LeBlanc came in. Whether that'll keep the case, again, I'm not entirely sure because the players aren't actually saying anything at all for me. So a bit of a curious one here, Enzi.
I'm not sure. Well, we had Vayne, Fiddlesticks, Aatrox, yeah, I
And
forgot
LeBlanc.
already. And LeBlanc.
So, LeBlanc, Aatrox, Vayne, Fiddlesticks. So from that, I would assume it's going to be support, although it's not completely unheard of to have a LeBlanc support. So again, not entirely sure the way this is going to fall down. So these picks and bans should be coming out thick and fast here, as we've already gone through this process, but very much interested to see what is going to happen. Pulse, who is a caster that will be featuring in the next best of 3 for you guys watching this with Spuddington, did actually ask them if Heimer is a legit pick, and they kind of trolled around the answer and then said that he pulls it off easily, so could be a Heimerdinger pick after all.
Really?
No, it's a placeholder, they're trolling him.
Trolled. Unlucky Pulse and Spud. It's okay, we all get trolled. I get trolled a lot. Maybe I'm just the vulnerable guy in the corner who just everyone points at and laughs and...
That got deep and personal fast.
It's going deep, guys, you know, like... I just need to blow off the steam, you know, like just I got all these emotions building up.
I must admit, I did have a single tear just roll down my eyes, a man tear.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
It looks as though the Heimerdinger pick was actually for Shen. So they've gone for the LeBlanc again. Looking like from the way that the summoner spells are coming down that the Fiddlesticks will be the support, with LeBlanc occupying mid and Aatrox at the top. Whereas on the flip side, Nami Caitlyn bot lane is a very, very strong lane, very much harassment based, going to try and push down the tower as soon as possible. Caitlyn is regarded as a hard counter to Vayne. As an AD player myself, I absolutely loathe playing that matchup from the Vayne perspective. So I don't really think it's out of question here, NZ, that we could have some lane switch ups with maybe Vayne and Fiddlesticks going top.
Yeah, it would make sense. Like you said, you know, Caitlyn excels very well against the likes of a Vayne because of that the long range harass that she can just put down on towards Vayne. So I would not be surprised either if we did see a lane swap coming out. As we see on the right side is French Maids, right? French Maids? Asian Maids. What? What?
You can see what's on your brain right now.
Hey,
French Maids.
I guess that's how my mind works, you know?
It does, you went right there. It's Reason Gaming are on the left side, they're going to be on the blue team, and
Okay.
Asian Maids are on the right side, the purple team.
They're French Maids to me now.
Oh, French Maids, yeah. If only we had Nidalee with the French Maid outfit,
Oh,
it would just
God.
be perfect.
It would just fit straight in, wouldn't it? Well, I mean, Asian Maids, I really like their team composition. I don't know why. I just like it. I mean, they have Shen. They have Shen. You know, they have that split push potential. They have Vayne for the late game. You've got LeBlanc coming in for that really early game domination if she can get rolling. Aatrox all around is very, very strong. God, his passive annoys me, but he's good. So we're just gonna have to see how this one really pans out. You know, you've got the Caitlyn and Nami. If they're gonna lane against Vayne, if they are overall better players than the opposing team, they're gonna crush. Maybe not crush, but you know, largely win the matchup, as mostly you do as Caitlyn against Vayne, unless you're me because I'm a bad AD carry. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game.
What I will say is that from the side of Reason Gaming, they have a lot of burst potential on a single target. You've got Ari. If she lands a charm, the follow-up damage could just be phenomenally strong with Elise. Elise is going to do a lot of damage. She's going to be pretty tanky as well, so definitely one to watch out for. I would assume, based off this composition, that Agent will probably be building a tankier kind of Lee Sin, because apart from Lee Sin, they don't have a great deal of kind of a front line here for Caitlyn, so Nardius is going to have to play his heart out with position positioning and make sure that Vayne doesn't get on his face. Otherwise, that long-range harassment that we're speaking about in laning phase will bear no relevance going into late game. As you said before, NZ, Vayne will crush late game. She's a very scary champion. But we've got about a minute left on the delay, ladies and gents, so we're going to cut to a very quick commercial break. And when we rejoin us, we'll be live for game number 1 in the EUWChallenger series number 12 here between Reason Gaming and Asian Maids. We'll be right back. Hello once again, welcome back to our live coverage here of the EUWChallenger Series number 12. This is going to be game 1 between Reason Gaming and Asian Maids here. And really looking forward to this matchup, NZ. I'm joined by Enz, and we are going to be kicking it right off here. I know you've got some spectator issues right now, NZ. Have they been resolved yet? I don't think you could get into the game, could you?
No, I can't get into the game. I get an unknown error, which is truly outrageous.
Oh. Good old Tarek. So what we'll probably try and do, I will cut into action if it happens here, but what we'll try and do is I'll just cast because I'm actually in the game live right now. So I'll try and take the team fights, Enzi, and if you can just try, chime in with some color casting here and there, that would be wonderful, because solo casting is pretty painful for the spectators as much as my voice.
Go back, I'm going to Disneyland, mate.
Disneyland, that's pretty interesting. Where, Paris?
What's Paris?
Oh, well, actually, hold that thought, because here comes Cal right from the beginning. Bimbo's going really low. He's going to fall in a heartbeat. That's going to be first blood. Mozilla forced to flash away almost instantaneously, or would have been following suit as well. A flurry of flashes come down. Nice cocoon lands on Shen, and that should be halting off the onslaught. Meanwhile, though, from the side, here comes Kazimich on Nami, trying his best to pick up a return kill. Doesn't look likely thus far, forced to flash away as well. So all the flashes seem to have been popped there. I'm trying to count how many. That's one from the side of Asian Maids, and it's going to be 3 from the side of Reason Gaming.
The way they synchronize them abilities there, Aatrox with a jump in, and then Shen just a taunt, and you're not going to get away from that, you know? But they didn't even pick up a kill, so it was nice to see, but they didn't pick up a kill. So, or did they?
They did. They got first blood.
Yeah, they did. Pitrum.
It's been a while for Enzi, ladies and gents.
Sorry, guys.
He's not casted in. Oh god, it must be like over a year for you now, Enzi, right?
Must be, I guess. I'm sorry, guys.
We all love you, dude. It's all good. Anyway. Yeah, first blood is going to go into the hands of Asian Maids here, and it will be going for Shen. So that top encounter is going to be very painful for the next few minutes for Mozilla, maybe needing some help from the Lee Sin. One of the good things about Lee Sin, hypermobile champion, could suddenly dart in round the back and make some plays. Now, I know you do love yourself some Lee Sin jungle, Enzi, and you're actually an advocate of this Doran's Blade start. Why is that? Why do you prefer Doran's over the Hunter's Machete instead?
Early game, you know, the early game dominance it brings. I mean, getting that attack damage, the extra health. Start that W, you can sustain yourself up well in the jungle, even without the Machete's Blade and the 5 pots. And you've just got more power overall to just land them ganks, and you're just going to absolutely dominate. As you know, Lee Sin early game is really, really good.
Yeah, as you're talking there, another kill did go down. 2 Asian Maids again, so they've had a really dominant beginning. With the flash not even being utilized from Bimbo, so maybe realizing that that kill was on the cards regardless. Did get a nice charm off on Aatrox as he came around from the side, but just delaying the inevitable. And now Ko is actually going down to bot lane. Nice ward popped in from Kazimich in the right place at the right time, but Nardius is so far away right now that he could have potentially made something happen. But if you have a look at Jez's and also Winner, Fiddlesticks and Vayne respectively, they were too busy farming under their tower, they couldn't jump onto that gank. So they're going to go for take 2 here. Ko from the side, jumping in. Very nice play. Kazimich going down very quickly. Actually will fall to the hands of Aatrox. This is a beautiful beginning for Asian Maids. They have their eyes on the 4th kill, but they don't have enough health. And the flash coming back in from Nardius to pop the passive from Aatrox. So a flash for a passive. I'm a bit curious there from Nardius. Maybe his eyes just lit up there and he thought he could get the kill. But in doing so, just popping the passive instead of the kill.
Absolutely. I mean, the flash burn, I guess, isn't too bad, because if you have a look at that CS, Caitlyn is ahead right now, probably due to that lane. But I don't think the flash was worth in exchange for the passive.
Yeah, Lee did come in there. Agent going down to bot lane, flashing up red. Lots of players. Carthus, please. Just waiting in this game with the Requiem. There'd be a flurry of kills. Nardius is being tagged up again. Tidecaller's blasting from Kazimich, very nearly securing the kill on Aatrox. But again, he will manage to survive and go back to his tower. With a double kill, has got 1.2k gold in his back pocket. So that is a really beautiful start from Cow here on the Aatrox. He's going to be coming back into this game. He's going to be very scary.
Absolutely, and if we look at the scoreboard, Ari is currently sitting on 0-2 now. That's not me just literally pointing it out because, you know, she died twice. Well, I kind of am, but that going 0-2 early on, even if it's from a gank or, you know, just that first blood, can really just demotivate you, you know, like just get your morale down and just maybe take you off your game. So hopefully that isn't going to affect him. It probably won't, because, you know, he is a high tier player and he's probably going to just bounce right back.
Yeah, but I think another thing as well, though, Enzi, is not just the morale, it's the fact that he's actually behind by nearly 2 levels on LeBlanc. LeBlanc is about to ding up to 6. Okay, actually, correction, it's just the 1 level, but that's still significant, because once LeBlanc hits level 6, the amount of burst damage is just scary, and Bimbo doesn't have a great deal to retort back onto it. Yes, he's got the double Doran, so it's a nice bit of health and ability power on top of it, but LeBlanc is just going to run rampant. As you said in Champion Select, Enzi, if LeBlanc gets a good start, can snowball very quickly out of control. Jumping back in again, Charm's landing, trying to bait out this jump on here. Here comes LeBlanc from the side, and Aatrox again, the flash being used, but here comes that jump, and that's going to be the 3rd kill to Aatrox in as many minutes. This is already looking pretty precarious for Reason Gaming. 0-4 behind, nearly 2k gold behind at the 6-minute 40 mark.
And the thing they're just doing right now is they're shutting down that mid lane. LeBlanc is going to have a huge CS lead now. He's going to get that level advantage. And as we both know, LeBlanc, early game, you know, her burst, like, throughout the game, if she starts going, is incredibly strong. And when you're 2 levels behind a LeBlanc with that amount of burst damage, like we saw, like, before the gank came in, Ari used barrier just to negate some of that damage that LeBlanc was going to put down on her, just to probably stay in lane for that little bit longer. And when you start using summoning spells when she had 4 HP, it's like, what? You know? So she's going to be hugely behind right now. That area is completely shut down, and that's going to allow Aatrox to focus on different parts of the map. He can focus on the counter jungling. He can focus on another lane. That mid for LeBlanc, she's going to be able to completely run rampage on that lane right now, because Ari is so far behind, and Aatrox did the work, really.
Yeah, and he's been rewarded with that work, with actually all the kills from these ganks. So initially I thought that LeBlanc had got her hands in a couple of kills, but actually just 0, 0, and 3. That is going to give her a Fiendish Codex, however, and the Doran's Ring. So it is going to be fairly precarious, fairly scary for Bimbo 8. Again, LeBlanc jumping in, and that's just a huge amount of damage right off the bat with just a couple of abilities. So she can continue to harass this way, Enzi, with this blue buff and the 2-level advantage that we were speaking on. It's not even the case that you can get the Spirit Rush coming out from Ari here if she gets ganked again. She's very, very vulnerable as it stands, and that's the reason why Lee Sin is hanging around mid so much. It's kind of a double-edged sword. Not only is Aatrox put so much pressure down that he can now go to other lanes, but because Ari is being so pummeled, look again at this combo flashing up there, but because she's being this pummeled, Lee Sin is forced to focus more on mid, and this will allow the other lanes to get ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, and on top of that, let's touch on the fact that Ari is great for that roam. You know, she can roam to the bottom lane, she can roam to that top lane with that Spirit Rush, she can just go straight in. She has to right now, with LeBlanc's blue buff. LeBlanc can just keep on pushing all day long, and she can just keep pushing that tower, and pushing Ari back to the tower. That's not going to allow Ari to a little bit of breathing space. Not even going to allow that. She's not going to be able to roam. She's not going to be able to catch up by going to another lane and ganking it. The pressure is all on Ari right now. LeBlanc is completely owning that lane.
Yes, and the alarm bells are beginning to ring. Here comes the Crow Storm from Fiddlesticks, and the Fear as well. Niali is trying his best to escape, but will be taken out courtesy of Fiddlesticks. Shen's flashing up at the top lane, but he should be just fine, chugging through those health potions, and in the meanwhile Mozilla pulling back. So, you know, we focused a lot in the mid lane, but bot is starting to get scary as well. We said before, Vayne going into mid to late is going to start to excel, is going to start to take that advantage that Caitlyn has and ram it back down her throat. And the fact that Caitlyn is not winning bot lane right now, is not doing a particularly great job at shutting this one down, and in fact Vayne and Fiddlesticks is pushing the lane against them, is really going to be precarious. It's really going to be scary for them, because normally you'd expect it to be the flip side, Enzi. You'd expect to see Nami and Caitlyn smashing down this tower very early.
Indeed, but that early pressure from Aatrox gave them that advantage in the lane. And because they haven't got to worry about Lee Sin, they haven't got to worry about Ari. Ari's getting pushed back straight to the tower. Lee Sin has to try and focus more on that mid lane because Ari is behind. Sure, you know, she can get back in the game, and if that happens, then maybe Vayne and Fiddle will be forced to play a bit more defensive. But Vayne already pushing this tower, yes, she's behind in CS, but regardless of that, well, obviously if you have like 2 CS, you're not going to be good into the late game compared to anyone else. But Vayne going into that mid to late game is going to start absolutely dominating, and if they're already like completely dominating the lane right now, I mean, Vayne has got a kill, Fiddle's got a kill as well, Nami's sitting on 0-2, and Caitlyn on the 1 death. You know, that's going to be scary, scary stuff for Caitlyn and Nami.
Yeah, and it's the fact, again, that even though the CS doesn't look too flattering to to Vayne right now, it's to be expected. It's a Caitlyn versus Vayne. The fact that Vayne has a kill and 2 assists is going to put them around even, or Vayne slightly ahead on overall gold. So, yeah, just looking at here, they're pretty much dead even, just over 3k gold each, and Vayne is just going to start to become very, very scary as this game progresses onwards, getting free farm underneath the tower. Interestingly enough, though, Enzi, with all the action that these two junglers have been putting down around the map, nobody started Drake just yet. So normally in the EUWChallenger series, you'd expect to see Drake being opted for around the 10-minute mark, and both junglers seem more than happy just to kind of camp the lanes and try and make kills.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we said French maids, Asian maids, they have that advantage right now. You know, they have that Shen for the split push, and they could easily go for a Drake at any time. They're in front, they've got the split push Shen, they've got that ultimate to come in, so, you know, they could go for it at any time.
Yeah, Aatrox just ganking top there, picking up the kill on Mozilla. Meanwhile, in mid, actually got an all-out battle between these two mid laners, and actually LeBlanc is going to come out on top right at the end with a slither of health. So, nice little play coming in there. Lee Sin's gone down to bot lane, so maybe trying to force something to happen. Finally trying to get their hands on an objective. No objectives has gone down thus far, including Drake. So, interesting stuff. Final hour popped out from Jez's. Here comes the Shen Stand United as well. Nice Dragon's Rage, though, from Agent. Noticing the threat, instantly getting rid of it, but Nadia's actually got caught out there from Shen, so a bit of a misplay, I have to feel. After the Dragon's Rage came through, surely they would not have been expecting that taunt to actually land. And they do, however, manage to get away by their skin of their teeth. And I just checked as well, Flash was not used from Shen. So it was a case that Nadia's just mispositioned himself.
And that is going to open the door if they want to get that dragon, that Drake. Will they though? No. Shen is just going to back. I mean, they literally do have a free Drake right there. You know, they're 8 kills in front, they have the gold lead, they haven't got the Shen ultimate anymore. I mean, Aatrox is at the top lane, so maybe that's why they didn't go for it. They haven't got that smite. But, you know, all of the enemy team of Reason Gaming were low. They could have went for it. They have the Fiddlesticks, you know, they have the Shen to tank it if needed. They have the Vayne, but they didn't go for it.
Yeah, a bit of a head scratcher. I think maybe they were more opting for the bottom tower, but they didn't pick that one up either, because of course Drakes will respawn, towers however will not. But they didn't finalise that kill, so maybe a tiny bit of a missed opportunity. Perhaps it was a case that they weren't entirely sure where Ahri was as well in mid lane. Maybe they were a bit worried that Ahri would come round and they'd die needlessly. But it's just kind of one of those situations where it's an either or. But another pretty scary thing right now from Reason Gaming, look at Ahri's build. That's 4 Doran's rings. That's normally a sign I'm in serious trouble. I'm not doing so well. Meanwhile, Oko's actually coming around from the side here, Enzi. He's going to be catching on towards these two players. The Nami actually misses completely with the tidal wave. However, Lee Sin from the side. Now Ko is going to have to pull himself back. He's been caught from the resonating strike. They're not going to be jumping in just yet. However, Tidecall is Blessing doing work on Nardius. But again, they will manage to live to fight for another day.
So yeah, another exchange where nobody goes down. As the Nami armor did come across and it did miss. Aatrox was forced to retreat more or less because of that health bar, but they are just going to defend this tower, it looks like, and nothing has really happened. But going back on the Doran's rings, that's just because she's so far behind. I mean, look at the CS difference. That's scary. We're not going to see a powerful arrow.
And as you were saying that, she just died again there, Enzi. So it's just going from bad to worse. You look at the item differential between the two mid laners. 4 Doran's Blade versus a Deathfire Grasp on LeBlanc. Her single target nuking capability is off the charts right now. For nearly 15 minutes through the game, she is going to be able to insta-give pretty much anybody on the map, barring maybe Lee Sin if he gets a bit tankier. So it's a case right now where LeBlanc can pick and choose whatever she wants. She's pushing down the mid tower now very much comfortably. And as you said, the CS differential is just terrifying. She has literally double Ahri CS. Ahri cannot afford to do anything, picks up a Negatron cloak to try and survive mid lane and get as much farm as possible, but it's just snowballing out of control, Enzi.
Absolutely, and you know, LeBlanc has got that start she needed. One combo and Ahri's practically dead with that DFG. I don't know if there is any return for this Ahri in this game. We're just going to have to see.
We will. LeBlanc has found herself a couple of players. Kazmich going down so fast. That's what we're talking about with the burst damage. Here comes the ace in the hole. Has popped off the passive in the meantime, though. Here comes the cavalry in the form of Aatrox and Shen. Shen's very low, however. Nice resonating strike lands. Beautiful taunt in the meanwhile. And also going to stand united on top of that. Can they pick up these kills? They picked up Shen. Now looking for that second. The Q just about missing. After the double dart comes away from LeBlanc. That is beautiful play with the distortion. And she is going to survive, so all about mechanics.
Great Q coming out from Lee Sin to catch that LeBlanc, and a great interrupt on Shen's ultimate with the kick as well. So that's one kill back, but they've still got a very long time and a very long way before they're back completely in this game. And the good thing about that one kill is it went to Ari. No one needed that kill more than her.
It's very true, but I can't help but shake this feeling that was just a drop in the ocean, Enzi. Yes, you got a kill, but look at LeBlanc. She's came straight back in with home-guarded boots on Sork shoes. So, yeah, just that rub salt on the wound. She's got more magic pen, and she's able to get back into position to nuke somebody down even quicker. Bimbo has actually gone to top lane, trying to pick up some farm, chasing after Coast, force that flash. Here comes the Spirit Rush as well. Doesn't want to overextend because there is an angry Sunfire caped up glowing Shen en route, and again Ko survives by the skin of his teeth. He had like 25 hit points there.
And yeah, again, Aatrox gets away with literally nothing. So Ari's probably a bit annoyed, and after that exchange actually went down, the bot tower was actually taken from the Maids. So that's some more global gold for them, so that one kill didn't really mean much, to be honest. It just meant they got a kill and some gold. But that's normally the same with most things in League of Legends. You get gold for stuff. So
that was a beautiful description on the meaning of League of Legends there. LeBlanc is going to just be dashing away. Constant harassment, constant just pressure all around the map. No one dares to go into bushes anymore because of the burst potential that she possesses. A couple of flashing up plays, namely Bimbo, who's been forced to go back to spawn once again, has the Merc shoot tread, so he's just fully scared of LeBlanc. That's not even taking into account Vayne. We haven't mentioned Vayne. Vayne is going to start to chug along because of all the gold that she's been getting. Already has a Blade of the Rune King, got herself a dagger as well, and this is the kind of build that we see from Reckless, where he normally will go for Blade of the Rune King, into Phantom Dancer, into Static Shiv. I'm very interested to see if Jezz is going to go the same route here.
And like you said, yeah, we haven't even mentioned the Vayne going into late game, because as you see right now, LeBlanc is everywhere on the map. Now that she got that mid tower down, she's able to go to the top lane. She's able to go to the bot lane. Ari is running scared right now, and LeBlanc is going to take advantage of it. She's going to roam to other lanes and help. She's sitting on 4-0 and 3. DFG, Sorcerer's Boots, the Flask, the Doran's Ring, and some health pots just to top that one off. You know, the little icing on the cake. I don't know. What am I even getting at?
It's all good, dude. It's all good. There's just a massive difference. And also, LeBlanc is edging up towards 1.6k. So it'd be interesting to see what she builds up next. Could very well be a needlessly large rod going into something big like a Rabadon's Death Cap, or potentially Zoni's Hourglass. The top lane, though, Mozilla again. It's a bit of a deja vu moment where Coast came up, Darkflight comes out. Also, the Massacre as well. The ultimate popped off from Aatrox. I'm not sure they've got the charging and chasing capabilities to take this one down. No, they don't. And with Agent just darting around from the side, that is going to be well and truly over. But again, they're just putting this harassment down. And you look at Ari's item build. Yes, we've mentioned it a couple times. Does not have a single finished off item unless you count Mercury Treads. She's just not doing any damage, Enzi. And we're nearly 20 minutes through this game. It's very, very seldom that I actually see a mid laner with this few items at this stage in the EUWChallenger series. It goes to show how one-sided mid lane actually was.
Yeah, but it wasn't just the LeBlanc though. That Aatrox did a lot. Ari did get first blooded from the level 1, so that wasn't necessarily, you know, the lane. It wasn't. It might have been in a lane, I can't remember, but whatever. Like, Ari is, you could say, an assassin, not an actual assassin, but you know, like, her burst damage, her ability to just go in and completely assassinate one champion is crazy. And without any items, especially at 20 minutes, well, yeah, she has items, but really big offensive items like you see on LeBlanc, like a DFG. She's got the large rod now. she's gonna be dealing hardly anything.
Yeah, she's building defensively. She's building so she doesn't get popped, with maybe the hope that they get in towards late game. But that's where Vayne's just kind of tapping everyone on the shoulder and saying, "Hi guys, you get to late game, you have to deal with me then. LeBlanc may very well fall off, but then I'm just going to climb on top of you and destroy everybody." So there's really no respite right now for Reason Gaming. They've fallen behind. Even Aatrox is getting in with the kills, 5-0. And as you said, completely hit the nail on the head. It wasn't a case that LeBlanc was just going huge. He got a lot of jungle presence and help as well. Here comes Cole though. He's going to be popped down into that passive. Are we going to see the kill coming out straight afterwards? They are very much weary and scared of LeBlanc, who's going in with a burst damage. Look at this. Going to be taking out Elise, who's quite tanky herself, and gets the double kill. And in fact, a bot lane in the meanwhile, another 2 kills goes down. So that's a 4 of a kind right now coming out from Asian Maids. And not too surprisingly, the surrender vote comes in for game number 1.
Absolutely. You know, I would say Ari could do so much more, but didn't happen. Shout out to Lisa for that one. You know, she likes that. But there's the surrender vote coming in, and that was just... They knew that LeBlanc needed that early start. They knew that they needed that LeBlanc, that pressure in mid lane, you know, help her get rolling. And then Vayne, if it got to the late game, could just take over, could just be like, "What up? I'm here, and I am going to kill you all, because I'm Vayne, and I carry the game."
It really started from that invade as well, Enzi, because they got the first blood, and they popped a lot of flashes in the process. So that really set up Aatrox's ganks with his Dark Flight. It's very difficult to get away from that one, especially, you know, with a LeBlanc breathing down your neck as well. So they got that advantage, and they really exposed it, and they converted it into a very comfortable win in the end. That's going to be game number 1 done, ladies and gents. We're going to jump into game number 2 very shortly. So stick with us, and we'll be right back after this short break.